Chapter 5. Appreciating Individual Differences, Self-Concept, Personality, Emotions. What makes us different from one another, and how does this affect our opportunities in the workplace? In this chapter's opening vignette, Renee Trubiano and Kelly Roy serve as examples of how individual differences can play a major role in an organizational context. As we go through this material, you will see how the various factors that make us all unique, when properly managed, can be a true asset to organizational performance. When you have completed this chapter, you should know the difference between self-esteem and self-efficacy, and be able to contrast high and low self-monitoring individuals. You should also be able to identify and describe the Big Five personality dimensions, explain locus of control, identify the components of attitudes, and discuss cognitive dissonance. Finally, you should be able to identify the facets of multiple intelligence and explain the concepts of emotional contagion, emotional labor, and emotional intelligence. Who are you? When we consider the self, we are dealing with the core of one's conscious existence. Self-concept, then, is a person's self-perception as a physical, social, and spiritual being. Individuals' selves differ on many dimensions, and organizational behavior seeks to understand the role of both the attitudes and behaviors of these individuals in an organizational context. A significant part of that quest is to understand the unique individual as defined by her personality traits, attitudes, abilities, and emotions. Contributing to one's self-concept are the cognitions that she holds. Cognitions include a person's knowledge, opinions, and beliefs. Beyond self-concept, individuals have varying levels of self-esteem. Self-esteem varies from person to person and is defined as one's overall self-evaluation. Low self-esteem can be raised by having the individual focus on desirable characteristics that they possess. In other words, to help raise one's self-esteem, one needs to emphasize her positive attributes. There are 6 methods by which one can increase self-esteem. Live consciously and be aware of what is around you. Be self-accepting and focus on your positive characteristics. Take personal responsibility for your behavior. Learn to be self-assertive. Live purposefully by establishing clear and challenging goals, and demonstrate strong ethical character and personal integrity. One factor that may affect one's self-esteem is their sense of efficacy. Self-efficacy is a person's belief about her chances of successfully accomplishing a specific task. A strong sense of self-efficacy is important for a healthy lifestyle and organizational success. Research findings are clear that there is a significant and positive correlation between self-efficacy and job performance. The opposite of self-efficacy is learned helplessness, which is a debilitating lack of faith in one's ability to control the situation. It stands to reason that the more one believes in her ability, the more likely she is to behave in ways that support achievement. Where do self-efficacy beliefs stem from? According to the literature, sources include prior experience, persuasion from others, and the assessment of physical and emotional states. The link between these self-efficacious beliefs and the behavior patterns are strengthened or diminished by the feedback that is provided from the environment, ourselves, and others. Individuals who are active, goal-oriented, prepared, and exert sufficient effort tend to be more successful. Individuals who are passive, avoid difficult tasks, and make a weak effort are far more likely to fail. Our next topic is self-monitoring, or the extent to which a person observes her own self-expressive behavior and adapts it to the situation. Research demonstrates that there is a positive relationship between high self-monitoring behavior and career success. This is consistent with the findings we discussed earlier in reference to self-efficacy. One of the greatest factors in making us unique are our personalities. Our perceptions, attributions, and cognitions are all affected by our personality, which we will define as the stable mental characteristics responsible for one's identity. Perhaps the most dominant theory in personality research is the Big Five. The Big Five provides a framework for categorizing and analyzing personality traits and is made up of the 5 dimensions: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, and openness to experience. Extroversion is characterized by assertive, talkative, and sociable behavior. Agreeableness is characterized by cooperative, good-natured, and trusting tendencies. Achievement orientation, dependability, and responsibility are associated with conscientiousness. Emotional stability is characterized by relaxed, secure, unworried behavior. Finally, those individuals who are more intellectual, imaginative, and curious are aligned with the dimension of openness to experience. Of the Big Five personality dimensions, conscientiousness has the strongest positive correlation with job and training performance, whereas extroversion is associated with successful managers and salespeople. Our next topic focuses on who controls or seems to control your fate. Is it you or something else? Locus of control is a concept that identifies whether individuals perceive that they have control over situations, or whether they are powerless to influence their own outcomes. An individual with an internal locus of control attributes outcomes to her own actions and behavior. An individual with an external locus of control believes that her performance is the product of circumstances beyond her control. Another personality trait is the degree of humility one possesses. Humility is defined as the ability to consider the contributions of others and good fortune when assessing one's personal success, and is sometimes referred to as the silent virtue. We now move our discussion of what makes us different from one another to the topic of attitudes. Attitudes are general feelings that we have towards things and people and are comprised of affective, cognitive, and behavioral components. That is, an attitude is constructed by how you feel, what you think, and what you do. More formally, an attitude is a learned predisposition to respond in a consistently favorable or unfavorable manner with respect to a given object. It is important to note that attitude does not necessarily predict behavior. What happens when attitudes and actions aren't aligned with one another? Leon Festinger proposed that people are motivated to maintain consistency between their attitudes and beliefs and their behavior. Cognitive dissonance represents the psychological discomfort a person experiences when her attitudes or beliefs are incompatible with her behavior. Festinger theorized that people will seek to reduce this dissonance or psychological tension. But how can cognitive dissonance be reduced? Festinger proposed 3 methods. First, one could change her attitude or behavior, or both. This is the simplest solution when confronted with cognitive dissonance. Second, one could belittle the importance of the inconsistent behavior, discounting the conflict. Finally, one could alternatively find consonant elements that outweigh the dissonant ones. That is, one could simply rationalize away the dissonance. Intelligence is another factor that distinguishes one person from another. Intelligence plays a significant role in one's ability to influence outcomes and to achieve success, and is defined as the capacity for constructive thinking, reasoning, and problem-solving. Intelligence spans a wide array of abilities including verbal comprehension, word fluency, numerical reasoning, spatial reasoning, memory, perceptual speed, and inductive reasoning. Emotions also contribute to our uniqueness. Emotions are complex human reactions to personal achievement and setbacks that can be both felt and displayed. Emotions are much stronger and resilient than our moods. All of us have both positive and negative emotions. Negative emotions are considered goal incongruent, whereas positive emotions are considered goal congruent. Negative emotions include anger, fright, anxiety, sadness, envy, and disgust. Positive emotions include happiness, pride, love, and relief. Many modern occupations require the active management of emotions on the job, or emotional labor. Further, the management of emotions can be argued to be of importance in almost any context, as emotions can be transmitted from one person to another through the process of emotional contagion, creating a vicious or virtuous cycle in the workplace. As Figure 5-4 of the textbook shows, both positive and negative emotions can take many forms. Our final topic for this chapter is emotional intelligence. Recently, organizational behavior research has found that emotional intelligence is the best predictor of leadership ability. Emotional intelligence, also called EI, is the ability to manage oneself in a variety of settings and to manage relationships in mature and constructive ways. This concludes the lecture on Chapter 5. Apply the concepts that you've learned in the end-of-chapter materials, such as the ethical dilemma, "Can we talk about your body art?" and take a practice quiz on the Online Learning Center, www.mhhe.com/KINICKIOB4E.